Good evening, my brothers and sisters. How you doing this beautiful evening? Your brother Tony has prepared a good dinner for you this evening. Come on down and come on up and sit on down at the dinner table, my brothers and sisters. You are going to have a good meal this evening. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Tuma, and I speak about relationships. I talk about relationships, my brother and sister, basically from a spiritual point of view. When I say spiritual point of view, if you go back to the book of Genesis, you would know that God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. Thirdly, God represented the woman to Adam after taking a rib out the man's body, and he represented the woman to the man. And at that particular time, the man Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. I should call a woman because she came from man. That's the position I come from when it comes to a relationship, my brothers and my sisters, okay? If this is your first time at the dinner table, I'm letting you all know exactly where I come from. I believe strongly in how God organized the relationship in the book of Genesis. Now, if you have a different point of view, I still encourage you to stay at the dinner table and get some of this good food for the soul, okay? And those of you that are here, my family members and friends, and also guests, if you have a question along the way, you can ask the question or you can make a comment along the way. I'm on two different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. Those of you that are on the book and those of you on the tube, you might not see the comments or questions from both platforms. For example, those of you on the book, you may not see the names and comment from those on the tube, and those of you on the tube, you may not see the names and comment of those that are on the book. But I will call out the name and the comment every now and then because we all family here, okay? And with that said, my brother and sister, let's look at what's on the menu for tonight. What's on the menu for tonight is never get into a relationship with this type of man or woman. Again, never get into a relationship with this type of man or woman. Now, my brother and sister, at the beginning of all relationships, listen to me carefully. Don't hear me, my brother and sister. Listen to me carefully. At the beginning of all relationships, there are red flags at the beginning of all relationship, but you have to pay a very, very close attention. And that's what we're discussing at the dinner table. My brother and sister, if you meet, when I say my brother and sister, I'm talking about those of you that are in Christ. That's what I'm talking about when I say brother and sister, those of you in Christ. If if a person comes to you and the relationship is going to be an unequally yoked relationship from the beginning, there are red flags. They are very, very clear. But you see, the thing about it, my brother and sister, when it comes at the beginning relationship, you can't get into the relationship based on how you feel. Never get overexcited when it comes to meeting a man or woman. Now, you may be intrigued, but never get overly excited because if you get overly excited, you're dealing with a person on an emotional level. When you're about to get into a relationship, you may be feeling good and stuff, but never, my brother, and never my sister, get into a relationship. How you doing, Sister Tierra Mo? Based on how you feel, or based on how that man or woman look, or based on what that man or woman has, because that's that man or woman stuff what they got. It's not yours. If that man or woman look good, you don't visualize if we get together, we're gonna have some pretty children. That's superficial, or how they built and all that kind of stuff. That's superficial. And I could go on and on and on. But at the beginning of every relationship, if you're gonna about to get into an unequally yoked relationship, there are clear red flags. You choose to, my brother, and you choose to, my sister, to ignore it. That's why I always say this, and I'm gonna say it again. At the beginning of every relationship, those of you brothers and sisters that's in Christ, it doesn't cost you that much but a little piece of time. You say a silent prayer to God. You say a silent prayer to God and ask God, should you, based on, I'm just paraphrasing this, should you entertain this type of person? How you doing, Sister Pamela Sim? That what you need to ask God when you initially meet someone. Ask God, a silent prayer to God, should you entertain this type of person? And I guarantee you, if you bring God into the equation, he is going to give you, he's going to give you discernment so you can see straight through that man or woman where they're coming from. And this early on in the relationship, that's why we're talking about never get into a relationship with this type of man or woman. How you doing, cousin Patricia Joy? So that's what I'm saying. Now listen, we're about to get into it. 7 points that I need to make, my brothers and sisters, about this. Number one, and this is about getting into a relationship when it's going to be an unequally yoked relationship. What my brother and what my sister does, righteousness have with unrighteousness? Nothing. Or what commune does light have with darkness? Nothing. So my brother and sister, if you are children of light, why would you entertain children of darkness? When you get into a relationship, my brother and sister, you get more than a person. Let's face it, you get more than a person. You get more than what you see with your naked eye. You get more than a body. What you don't see, you see in the soul. That's the real person. That's what you need to be concerned about. But more importantly, what is the spirit on the inside of that person that is driving that person's soul? That's what you need to understand. That's why you, brothers and sisters, you need to ask God, is this person for you? That's right, Sister Pam saying, God tell her not to be unequally yoked. That's right. Number one, at the beginning of a relationship, when you are talking to a man and a woman, and you are leaning towards getting into a relationship with that man or woman, you, my brother, and you, my sister, you got to listen very carefully who or what is going to come in front of you. Listen to me again. You need to be listening for who or what is going to come in front of you. Now, my brother and sister, you should not expect to be the number one person or thing in that man or woman's life, unless he or she is of the world. Now, if he or she is in the world, of course, they're probably going to put you on a pedestal. You never want to be number one in that man or woman life. The only exception that should come before you, my brother, you, my sister, is God's son, Jesus. You never want to get put in Jesus' place. No man or woman should be worshiping you. You're not God. You're not Jesus. So the only exception that should come before you, brother, or you, sister, is Jesus himself. That's why at the beginning of a relationship, you need to find out what is the most important thing or person in that person's life and listen to it. This is very critical, my brother and sister. You just ask that man or woman, what's the most important thing in your life right now? What do you, and you could throw a word in like this, what do you value the most in this relationship? Normally, the first thing that come out of that man or woman life, that's what it is. You know, Maya Angelou, the great poet, she said that whenever a man or woman when a person show you who he or she is, believe it, right? Not only that, Jesus said you could tell a tree by the fruit it bears. Not only that, Jeremiah said that a leopard cannot change his spots, and neither can an Ethiopian change the color of his skin. So, my brother and sister, the first thing that come out of that man or woman's life, believe it. How you doing, Sister Tammy? If a man or woman tell you, my mama is the most important thing to me, that's a reject. If a man and woman tell you that my children are the most important thing, that's a reject. If my job is the most important thing, that's a reject. Anything or any person that comes before Jesus, ignore that person. Y'all can't go no further. But if you get caught into your feelings, how you doing, Sister Deborah John? Welcome to the dinner table. But if you go by your feelings, if you get into how that person look, how that person shape, what type of position that person have in society, what that person own and all that kind of stuff, you getting your red flag. Because if you ask the Lord and the Lord open up your discernment and the Lord flush that person out, because that person they don't know, because you said the prayer of the Lord, the person didn't hear your prayer. Because don't you know you can say a silent prayer to the Lord while you're talking to someone? And he will speak to you if you have a spirit. And when he show you, you at that point, my brother and sister, you got to make a decision. The Lord is not going to make the decision for you. He will provide the information because he's going to get that person to talk. And when the Lord flush that person out, you got a decision to make. So the only person or thing that should come out that person's mouth is my relationship with the Lord. If they can't say that, move right along. Number two, at the beginning of the relationship, if you start feeling negative vibes, that's part of your discernment. You're going to have an eerie feeling. It's just like math, and I always say this. What that person say or do is not going to match up. You see, in math, 1 + 1 always equal what? 2, right? It never equal 3. So if you use that analogy about math, when that person is talking or doing something, the math is not going to add up. It's going to come to you. This person trying to get me to believe that 1 + 1 = 2. But I know it don't equal 2, because if I was in school and I put 1 + 1 = 3, I would get that would be marked wrong. And no matter what I tell the teacher, I'm going to get it wrong. And we know it's universal that 1 + 1 = 2. And we're fine with that. That's acceptable, right? So if your spirit, that's what it is. It's not no intuition. It's your spirit that's going to prompt you. How you doing, Roxy? Reed, welcome to the dinner table. It's that spirit of God that's going to let you know you're going to get that uneasiness about that person. Because remember what the Bible say about God. God is not the author of confusion, but peace. You're going to get some kind of confusion going on in you because it's not going to add up. So if it's not going to add up, the Lord going to show you this in that person. But if the Lord show you, remember, he didn't make you no robot. So he's going to allow you to make the decision. Number 3, at the beginning of the onset of relationship, that man or that woman start lying and misrepresenting his or herself. If they start lying and misrepresenting his or herself, don't go any further. Again, if you pray to the Lord, he's going to flush that person out. And when that person, that's a good indication of who that man or woman's father is. Because Satan is the father of what? Lies. And his children gonna lie. Some of them may look you in the eye and tell you a bald-faced lie. So you listen to the words and you look at the body, and the body, how they when I said the body, I ain't talking about seeing where they find and all that kind of stuff. You look at their body language, because you're going to get a complete picture. That's the Lord's spirit, the Lord flushing that person out. So you listening to the words and watching that person's body language. I'm going to tell you something there, my brother, so listen to this. If you have the light of Christ, listen to me very, very carefully. You need to listen to this. If you have the light of Christ, as you know, my brother and sister, you have heard this saying before, the eyes are the window to the souls, right? That's a very true statement. Very true statement. Because if you have Christ in you, you have light. If they do not have Christ in them, what type of spirit do they have? It's one or two. You're gonna have one of the two spirits, and you're either gonna have Christ's spirit or the spirit of the Antichrist. Most of the people that you talk to, and I have talked about this earlier today, most people, they can't look you in your eyes. Most people can't look you in your eyes, my brother and sister. Most people, when you look into their eyes, they'll either like look to the side, they'll look down, or they'll look. I'm not talking about shy people. This is deeper than shy people. When there's a spirit of the Antichrist, they can't look you in your eyes. They may glance up every now and then, but they can't look in your eyes. And it's not like you staring at them, but you know what it is? It's the light of Christ that's in you. And the light of Christ in you, you're looking at them, but their spirit know that Christ is in you. You understand, my brother? So their spirit know that Christ is in you, so they're going to get unsettled. And when they get unsettled, they're going to be lying. And when they be lying, they're going to be misrepresenting themselves because they're trying to find out what you like. That's why a lot of men and women at the beginning of a relationship, they want to know what type of relationship, what type of man or woman you looking for. Let me tell you this, my brother and sister, you never tell a woman everything that you're looking for in a relationship. Sister, you never tell a man everything that you're looking for in a relationship. Never do it. Because you know, if you give a man or woman the total blueprint, you know what he or she could do? They could use that blueprint and make themselves into what you said you wanted or looking for. Don't you know, my brother and sister, that Satan, he masquerades himself as an angel of light? He's a counterfeit. So a man and woman that is lying and misrepresenting, their father is the devil, so you're looking at a counterfeit. And that's why the Lord, with your discernment, he's going to let you know that that man or woman is a liar early in the relationship and misrepresent his or herself. Don't let it slide. If you let it slide, that's on you. Number 4, he or she can't keep early commitments. They always coming up with an excuse. At the last minute, a lot of times, too, they come up with an excuse. You know why they coming up with an excuse? Because you're not that high on their priority list. They want to give you a rain check. Don't ever, my brother, don't ever, my sister, accept rain checks, because you're going to be having a lot of rain checks and you won't be able to cash them in. If a person get comfortable of making early commitment and breaking them, and worse than that, they might not even try to call you or anything. They'll leave you hanging. You supposed to go on a date on a Friday at a certain time. He or she call you supposed to meet at 7 o'clock. They call you at 5 minutes to 7, saying, I can't make it, something came up. Or here go another, my cousin or something came into town. All kinds of excuses. And the worst thing you could do, brother and sister, let a man or woman put you on a schedule. Like he or she, Joe Biden or son, the president of the United States, putting you on a schedule. Don't ever let nobody put you on a schedule. I'm going to tell you what happened when a woman used to put me on a schedule. When I was back there in the day, if a woman ever tell me, let me get back with you, and I'll let you know. I said, you know what I used to say? Okay. And you think I called that woman and wanted to know what's up? No. I went to plan B. I never let a woman put me on no schedule. I know I'm not all in the bag of chips, but I never allowed a woman. Then when I made plans, then the woman called back or something and say, okay, I could do this. No, we can't do this. Didn't I tell you I got to check and see? No. You can't. My time is important. Like my brother, sister, your time is important. Red flag. That number, and the next one, number 5, he or she hot and cold. They hot and cold. Schizophrenia. You don't know what type of person you're going to get. At the beginning of the relationship, they all calm, nice, and everything. Then the next time you see them, they all out of order. That's a major red flag, because a man and woman supposed to be somewhat consistent, my brothers and sisters. Don't get in a relationship with a man or woman that's hot and cold. They keep changing up on you. Red flag. Number 6, you've been dating for a long period of time, but no one know that you exist. Nobody know that you exist. Nobody. Zero. They never talk about you to no one, even to his or her closest friend. You a well-kept secret. But you know what? More than likely, you probably have introduced him or her to some of your family members and friends, or y'all went to somewhere. But he or she won't even take it. They won't even go in public with you. If they go in public, they're gonna be somewhere where nobody knows, where they think nobody knows, no one, because you aren't important. You at this point, when no one knows you, my brother and sister, guess what? You are not the one. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you aren't the one. And you never will be the one. If a person don't talk to you about no one, now it's bad if you have not met nobody. You haven't met nobody. But what worse than that is that you don't know that person, you don't know nobody's name in that person's family. You don't know no one in that person's family. He or she don't talk about no one in his or her family. It's all about you and me, baby. Which leads to point number 7. You are open. You want to be transparent, but that man or woman, they're very secretive. He or she want all the information, the 411 on you, but when you want the 411 on that person, he or she is secretive. They don't want to share nothing with you. And you ask, and the person say, well, you know, I just keep a lot of things. You know, I just don't want to discuss a lot of things. Sister Tammy say, you're telling the truth. If he really loves you, he will show you his family and friend. That's right. If a person really is into you, my brother and sister, really, really into you, and especially these key words, I want to be serious with you. These are the key words now. I want to be serious and I want to be in a committed relationship. If you don't hear nothing like that, my brother and sister, oh well, you don't expect for the don't get all married to the person if you haven't been introduced to his family member and friend. Because first of all, the person did not tell you that he or she is serious with you. That's number 1. And number 2, that man or woman did not say that we're committed, being in an exclusive relationship. So if a person does not verbally tell you, I'm serious about the relationship and I want to be in an exclusive or committed relationship, don't get angry at that person because you thought or you assume you're in a relationship, that person didn't. And don't assume that you're in a relationship when if you don't have no titles on the relationship. Because some people will say, well, what is this that we got going on? They won't even put no title on the relationship. You know why? Because you not the one. And you probably never will be. But you, my brother, and you, my sister, could put yourself in a category of being strung along for years and years and years. And when that man or woman gets with the person that he or she wants to get with, they're going to bounce on you. And you're going to turn around. And I talk to you Christian brothers, then you're going to turn around and you're going to want to talk bad about the man and woman. Why is it that you want to talk bad about the man or woman when they ghost you? Your relationship was not defined. It wasn't defined. You thought you were serious. You were not serious. That person was not serious. You thought you were committed. You're not committed. You see, the thing about it, my brother and sister, when it comes to commitment, God is serious with us. God wants to commit to us, and he wants us to be committed to him. And God wants a covenant relationship with us. It's just like a marriage. And that's how God will prefer for a man and woman to be. He would like for that man and woman to be serious. He would like for that man and woman to be committed. And that man and woman, God wants them to be in a covenant relationship. God does not have stuff. So my question to you, my brother and sister, why are some of you, as I speak, you in a questionable relationship with an unbeliever? Some of you have gotten what that little term, what Jada Pinkett say, it's not her original, it's in the dictionary, entangled. You're going to get in an entanglement with someone And you know why? Because you open up to that man or woman. Because you got to understand, there's a thing that's called soul ties. You, my brother, and you, my sister, you probably have got an emotional tie with that man or woman, or you on the brink of being in an emotional relationship with that man or woman. And then what really set it off, you sleep with them. And when you sleep with them, you become one. That's why God don't want us, brothers and sisters, to sleep with somebody that we're not married to. I know a lot of us have failed short in that department. I could raise my hand. I have failed short in that department. But actually, and I'm not holding you to die, but I'm just being real with you, my brothers and sisters. But actually, my brother and sister, God don't want us to do that, because everybody that you sleep with, you become one with them. That's why a lot of you brothers and sisters, you going from relationship to relationship, and you looking for the person. You can't find the person because you messed up on the inside. You don't think you messed up, but you are truly messed up because you got so many soul ties to you. That's why when you do get in a relationship, you always thinking about that particular man and woman from the past that used to have your toes curled up. That's why you're thinking about them so much. And sometimes you secretly texting them, you secretly calling them because you so tied to them. The chapter, the story is not over with you, my brother and sister. And as a matter of fact, if that man or woman say he or she want to get serious, commit and marry you, you will up and leave that person that was a pretty decent man or woman. So I have said, and these are the points again, my brother and sister, never get into a relationship with these type of men and women. That's why I'm telling you again, I always say that silent prayer to God when a man or woman come into your little spot, okay? I always pray to God and see does God approve of that man or woman that's in front of you? You see, God could bring a person to you, and also Satan could bring a person to you. God knows what you need. Satan knows what you want. You see, God is not going to bring no one into your life unless he or she is needed to advance you, to walk up the mountain with you. But Satan will bring someone to you that wants you to stay in the valley. God is always bring somebody that you could elevate with. Satan's going to bring someone that you can descend with. So remember, at the beginning of any relationship, I always say a private prayer to God and ask God, should I or should I not advance the relationship with the person? You can see it time you're talking to the person. You can say that silent prayer. He or she can't hear you, but you can say that silent prayer to God and you ask God, Lord, show me. I don't want to go by my feelings, Lord. Just show me. Is this person legit in front of me? The Bible clearly say a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. Sister, don't never go looking for a man. The Bible never tell you, sister, to go looking for a man. Brother, don't go pursuing or running after a woman. Why you want to put on your hunting gear like you're going hunting for a big game? So you can put a trophy up on your wall? You don't supposed to be running pursuing a woman. Brother, God will bring the woman into your view. The Bible says a man that findeth a woman, findeth a wife. How do you find a wife, brother? God is behind it. He will bring the woman to you some kind of way. And I always say this, when God brings a woman to you, brother, you're not expecting her. You have a desire for the woman. That's why you pray to God to bring the right woman to you. Don't go to God with a long laundry list of what how tall she need to be and her complexion and all that kind of stuff. Or don't go to God talk about she need to be a brick house. God, you remember that song with the Commodore song days ago? 36, 24, 36 over what a winning hand. Don't go to God talking about what Lionel Richie did song. Don't do that. You ask God to bring you a godly woman. And sister, you ask God to cause a godly man to find you. I hope, my brother, and I hope, my sister, that I have, with the Lord have expounded some things to you, not explain, expounded, open you up to some things so you won't be in the valley with the wrong man or woman. You wasting your time up in here, up in here. If you have any comments or any questions, my brother and sister, you can put the word wait down there in the comment section, and I'll wait for your question or comment. If you have a question or comment. If you do not, I would like to tell you this, my brother. Sister Tammy said, that's good. God will send someone. You can go ascend, go higher. Amen. But the devil will send someone who you will ascend with. Amen. My brothers and sisters, thank you so much for being a part of the dinner table tonight. I hope that you enjoyed your meal that was served up tonight. And if you enjoy it, you could take this. You could take this with you. I always have an abundance. So, my brother and sister, you could get a carrot plate, as many as you want. I'm not gonna call you greedy. Just put it, just pile it in and take it with you. I clean up the kitchen. How about that? I clean it up and go ahead and share some of this good food for the soul with other family members and friends, my brother and sister. Okay. And when they say, well, you got it from, you said, Brother Tony, serve this up. He always serving it up for us. Okay. I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. I hope that you all have a good night. Remember this, believe this, say la vie, peace out. Good night, brothers and sisters. Thank you, 88 here and now. Thank you. Have a good night, you all. Bye-bye.